doesn't work in here. We're not barbarians. So there's this interesting thing about this like controlled barbarism, you know. He's trying to keep control, and he's giving them this arena thing as a way to vent that bloodlust or something. I mean,
yeah, that might be it.
And it sort of reminds me of like sports in this in our society, or watching a show like this, you know, living vicariously through these people who get to go off and do these crazy things.
Right.
Like it is kind of useful to do that kind of thing.
And maybe they want to vent their frustrations. I mean,
yeah, exactly. That's what he said. And then it was interesting too. It was good placement because you have Andrea obviously smitten by the governor, and you know she even lets Michonne go without her because she realizes that she wants to stay here, and Woodbury's what they've been looking for, and only after that does she then see this horrifying spectacle, and so it's like, oh wait, maybe Michonne might have had a point there. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Look a little closer.
Yeah. Although maybe she'll justify it. I mean, she could probably, he told her it's staged, and so maybe she's calmed down.
Yeah,
at this point.
yeah, maybe so. I mean, I feel myself doing that. It's so weird. Like, I feel like maybe the zombie heads in the aquarium aren't as bad as they first seemed. I mean, it still seems pretty twisted, but they're zombies, and maybe they're a way for him to remember what, is at stake or something like that. I mean, the worst part about it is that helicopter pilot's head that was also in there, who he, apparently killed and stuck in there. That's pretty fucked up. But I don't know. And then keeping the zombie daughter, that seems stupid, but I could see where if
Herschel did it.
Yeah, exactly.
I have to say, I really sympathize with Andrea, and I'd like to think, like I said before, I'd like to think that I'd be strong like Michonne and say, this place is not good. I'm out of here. I'd like to think that I'd be smart and strong like that, but I don't know. Maybe the lure of the soft beds and the hot water would make me stay.
Yeah, I can almost definitely say if I had seen what Michonne had seen up to this point, I'd still stay. I wouldn't leave, even if I'd seen the bullet holes and kind of surmised that the governor might have gotten rid of all those soldiers.
And maybe we could talk ourselves into like, okay, we'll stay, but we'll see if we can somehow, make sure the governor doesn't do anything bad. And we can totally justify it to ourselves. Like, we have to stay in order to protect these people. Yeah. And
drink this Kool-Aid.
It's delicious on a hot day. So one other little note that I had was I noticed that Rick is still wearing his watch. It's kind of interesting that he's still wearing his watch. And I think that clearly you don't need to know what time or even really what day it is anymore. But I could see where he's still kind of holding on to maybe that last little bit of control, and maybe in the future we won't see him wearing the watch anymore. Because maybe when things really go south, he's still saying, okay, I just want to know what's the date, what's the time, and I want, that's his last little bit of normal. Who knows?
Yeah, I bet you Andrew Lincoln has a story about that.
Yeah. Let's get him on, man.
Okay. We should ask him. Remember to ask him that.
Okay.
We mentioned the title sequence a few episodes ago. I didn't catch it, but I mentioned how they showed Laurie Holden's name when they show this like centipede or millipede crawling over bullets. But it also flashes Sarah Wayne Callie's name over that segment too, which is sort of like, this bug in the dirt and a bullet. It's like, and then she was shot in the head. Maybe it was supposed to be a clue to what happened with her.
Right, interesting.
And then we've got Lauren Cohan with those gravestones still. So it makes me wonder what's going on. No. The governor's notebook had a bunch of names in it, and with Penny, and then a lot of scritches.
Yeah, the hash marks.
Like all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy from The Shining, craziness. Right. What was that list of names?
Don't know.
I think it's a list of people who, so I went and freeze framed the notebook on each page. And you see that there are a lot of notes about, how to manage the town, but they're like
logistics.
Yeah, benign notes. And there are notes about like someone write in their journal about being a leader. I think I'm a pretty good leader. And maybe these people in the town just need someone to look up to. But, I'm not, there was some unsurety there, but there was nothing ominous about it. There was like, we have to plan the budget for the next half of the year and, how to manage sanitation and stuff like that.
Did he really say budget? Mm-hmm. Budget?
Yeah, he said budget.
Budget.
Yeah.
What could you spend money on?
I don't know, but there's probably some kind of barter or currency or something like that, to get the people to do what you want them to do, just like in any little economy. Who knows? Then they show a list of names, and maybe it's people dying,
Oh, yeah.
And then when he gets down to Penny, that's when he goes nuts.
People he loved, maybe friends and family. His wife was probably on there.
Yeah.
What was his wife's name? Do you remember?
Bertha.
You liar.
No, I don't know. But they showed a picture of him and his wife and his daughter that Michelle looked at, and his wife looked like she didn't belong with him, I didn't think. But so it's interesting. Maybe he was actually a good leader and a good guy until his daughter died, and that's what pushed him over the edge, I think that's what that kind of suggested.
Right.
Then let's see. I noticed last episode we got mostly prison with a little Woodbury. This time it was kind of the flip side of that, more Woodbury focus with some going back to the prison every once in a while. I like that. People wonder why is Glenn why is he digging 3 graves? I think it's one for T-Dog, one for Lori, and one for Carol, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they assume that Carol is dead. Now, we don't know why he's digging the graves because we don't have those bodies. But I'm going to read something about that from Kirkman later.
Yeah, because he digs them and then we see that they're filled again. And it seemed like a pointless endeavor.
Yeah, actually, since we're talking about it, let me see if I can find that. This is from an interview with Robert Kirkman at entertainmentweekly.com. They say, by the end of the episode, 3 graves had been dug and filled in at the prison, but there are no actual bodies in any of them, right? Lori and T-Dog were both eaten, and they haven't found any traces of Carol at all. Kirkman says, that's correct. They're markers. It's a sentimental thing. There's enough bodies in the world of The Walking Dead. You don't have to actually put them in the ground. They say, I understand. It just occurs to me that this means they got the 2 prisoners to dig 2 big holes and then just fill them in again. He says, are you finding plot holes now? They say, no. Are you punning? He says, yes, I am. They say, that just seems to be some post-apocalyptic Cool Hand Luke style hazing to me. He goes, I honestly think it was just a test to see what they could do. It was more of an initiation than a hazing, if there's any kind of a difference. I think they had every intention of finding bodies and they just didn't. So there you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I guess so. But I do believe it's for Carol. Well, actually, Kirkman kind of just confirmed that. But Glenn said a third of our group in one day is gone. Yeah. And there's 9 of them: Maggie, Lori, Rick, Glenn, Beth, T-Dog, Herschel, Carol, and Daryl. So I guess they think Carol's dead. Yep. I don't. But maybe she is. At this point, I'm a little less certain.
I don't think she's dead.
And then Merle confirmed his racism because he looked up at the what looks like a Mexican guy up on the wall and called him Brownie.
He did?
Yeah, he's like, hey, Brownie. But I mean, it sounded like almost like a term of endearment, But I thought that was kind of funny.
It's funny.
And then, let's see. The governor said to Andrea, sorry things didn't work out with your friend, meaning Michonne, who left. He says, weird to lose someone by their own choice. Thought those days were gone. Which that sort of means almost like a reference to suicide, which I wondered if that was a callback to Andrea's whole history with the question of suicide.
Oh, that's interesting. I thought about it as, I interpreted it as people like leaving each other.
Right.
They just can't afford to do that so easily.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody leaves each other in the zombie apocalypse.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. I think you're probably right about that.
So I bet the divorce rate went way down.
And then I wrote no mention of tea this week, but I forgot there was some Kool-Aid in the beginning there.
All right.
Okay, that's all I have.
Okay.
All right.
Let's get on to
news. There's not very much news about The Walking Dead this week. Just a couple things. One thing I noticed is there was an interview with Stephen Yeun, and they said also known as Glenn Rhee, R-H-E-E. So I looked it up on the Walking Dead wiki, and they said that it's Glenn Mazzar has confirmed that Glenn's last name is Rhee, even though it's never been mentioned on the show, and I don't think in the comic either.
Interesting. Huh. R-H-E-E?
Yeah.
Huh.
Maybe that's Korean. I don't know.
I don't know.
So that interview that I read from entertainmentweekly.com with Kirkman, there's a couple other questions I thought were interesting. So they ask, I want to make sure I understand matters correctly. Laurie's body was eaten by a zombie who Rick then shot and started to gut in the hope of retrieving his dead wife's remains. Is that right? He says, I don't know if it was necessarily that, whether he wanted to inflict further pain on the zombie that ate his wife, or if he has, in fact, for some crazy reason, trying to see some piece of her in the hopes of gaining something. Look, it's a dark show. I don't know what to tell you. And then later they ask, I love that the governor had written finalized budget for second half of the year in his big book of plans before going off his rocker. He says, yeah, the governor has a lot of big plans, and I would encourage viewers to try and find hints at upcoming things in his notebook. So, yeah, I didn't have time to write all of these, but one thing he wrote, today made me wonder if being the governor or being the man in charge makes the people feel like they actually have someone to look up to or feel like they're being taken care of. Sometimes I doubt that. He says, I believe I'm a good leader. Sometimes I just need to relax. Then there's stuff about sanitation. Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's right, huh? God, you're probably nice right about this. Our Heinekens are gonna cancel each other out. It's gonna be a drag. We need to make another bet. Yeah, judiciary, guards, food monitoring activities, blah, 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 blah. That's it for the news.
All right.
Let's take a break. We'll be back. Stay with us. Okay, we're back, and it's time for listener moans, groans, and grunts. As usual, we don't have enough time to read all your emails, so if you didn't get yours in this week, sorry, but try again next time. And thanks for writing in, everybody. It's so much fun. I do read them all, and it's awesome to read all these.
And this first one comes from Jonathan. He says, I was surprised by how soon Laurie died, but I think I now know why. There's no way Rick could possibly battle the governor in his previous state. Now, after this absolutely tragic event, he is ready to take him on.
I thought that was interesting because a lot of, from what like Kirkman and Mazzara have said, it's like they wanted to break him down so that his meeting with an adversary would be more tension filled or something because he's not as capable. But this sort of suggests that actually now that he's in this deranged state or, like nothing to lose kind of state, that maybe he's actually in better shape to face somebody bad.
He does seem like he just wants to go around and hack people. So
he's like clearing out the prison of zombies by himself now.
He seems very hacky at this point. So
hackish. This one's from John. After recovering from the emotional turmoil that was season 3, episode 4, I realized there's a pattern in the writing. Think Dale and T-Dog, and here's a synopsis in haiku. You're on Walking Dead, taking the moral high ground. You're probably doomed.
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Totally.
Great haiku, John.
Yeah.
That's pretty great.
There's a point. That's a good point.
It is a good point.
Anybody starts arguing for somebody to live, they're probably a goner.
That's right. This is from Bill from Long Island. I heard you mention to Karen that you would look over the comics and see how far she could read without hitting a spoiler. Can you let your listeners in on that? I'd like to follow that way as well. So
I kind of glanced through my collection, and 27 is the first issue with the governor, but 13 is when they first get to the prison, and there's stuff that happens in between there that may or may not happen in the show. So if you want to be absolutely safe, I'd say read up to issue 13, even through issue 13. If you're okay with maybe having some minor things revealed, or maybe not, go through 27. But if you really want to make sure and avoid all spoilers, you can safely go through 13, I'd say.
It's interesting to see how far they're going to get by the end of this particular season.
They're getting a lot farther than I thought they would. Mm-hmm. They're just plowing through. I could see them, if they keep going at this pace, getting through the whole series of comics I didn't think that would be possible when they spent all season on the farm. That was only 2 issues of the comic,
Right. Oh, you can see them this season?
No, but I didn't think, most series aren't on more than like, say, 7 years or something.
Right.
So at that pace of last season, they wouldn't have made it through the comic, but now maybe they will.
And they're on issue like 102 or 3 or something like that.
103, yeah.
And and the governor first makes an appearance at 27. So they are cranking through them.
They are, yeah. This one's from John. Did you see the sneak peek to episode 305 of The Walking Dead, Say the Word? Glenn is digging one grave. Then after he asked the inmates to dig 2 more, I could only think of 2 people that died that episode, T-Dog and Lori. What's the other grave for? Could this be them not finding Carol and they're just burying her headband? I guess we'll find out. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Her headband. Oh, so sad. This one comes from Paul from Prince Edward Island, Canada. One thing that I question is the strength of the zombies. These dead, rotting corpses walking around have the ability to pull their own hands off, as we saw with Big Tiny getting scratched. So I'm thinking their dental hygiene must be pretty poor. So how is it they can chomp down with such force to rip out a chunk of T-Dog's shoulder, for example, through his clothing? Could you take such a chunk out of someone like that with a good set of chompers?
They have really strong teeth.
That's our story, and we're sticking with it.
Fingernails, which can rip through stomachs and grab intestines. Yeah, this is one. I mean, I think that if you get too much into the physics of zombiness, that you find holes. It's true, they do look like butter. Glenn is chopping through heads like butter.
Right, and Michonne diagonally bisects the one zombie, and that didn't look. But it's a katana sword,
right?
So maybe.
But
those are
at
really
this point, they're
sharp
almost seeming to me like the vampires in Buffy, where they just explode into a puff.
Yeah,
if you tap
exactly.
them on the shoulder, I wish they weren't so easy to kill, actually. So this is from Zach. When Andrea talks to Michonne about how she killed her pets without hesitation, Michonne states it was easier than you thought. I didn't hear this theory from y'all, but I think she meant it was easy to make a decision like that when Andrea's safety was on the line. What do y'all think Michonne will do next? I think an Andrea rescue is in order. Yeah, I don't know. It seemed like there was something, they were alluding to there being a secret there. Like maybe she didn't actually like those guys or something, or at least one of them or something,
Yeah.
It looked like they were going, there's a secret. We're not telling you. I hope we find out.
And maybe they were something of a liability anyway.
What do you think she'll do next?
I don't think she's going to be out of the picture.
No way.
Yeah, so she's sticking around. She's going to make sure that Andrea's safe, maybe. I think that she definitely smelled a rat there in Woodbury.
Oh, really? So you think she is going to try and keep protecting
Who knows?
her? Or I don't
think she's going to go far. She's not hightailing it to the coast, is my thought.
The other, if she's going to stay in the story, then the other possibility is that she runs into the prisoners or the people at the prison, right. Or the research team or something like that. So we'll see. Yeah.
This next one comes from Zach from Mississippi. Was glad to see Penny finally, but I think we could have gotten more shock value out of that scene. Maybe that's not what they were going for, because I mainly got a wow, this is creepy and I'm disturbed sort of feeling. Maybe that's what they had in mind. I like the scene with...
Wait. Yeah, that scene, I think they wanted to give a sense of the governor having a little bit of humanity, even though it was a twisted scene. So it was almost supposed to be kind of touching at the same time as disturbing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was sweet when you put the bag on his daughter's head. I like the scene with the different baby names. I thought that it was sweet that Carl was thinking of naming the baby in honor of his different members of the group. Then it broke my heart to hear when he said, Lori. Of course, we can't forget Little Ass Kicker. I think that one has a nice ring. Little Ass Kicker.
I hope they don't call the baby Little Ass Kicker.
They won't.
They might.
They won't.
That's worse than Big Tiny and T-Dog.
Little Ass Kicker. They do have a history of bad names or bad nicknames on that show.
This one's from Rima. So we find out the governor's secret, a Walker daughter, and it tries to bite. Is he keeping her in the hopes Milton will find a cure? Is this why the question was raised about Walker still having a part of themselves pre-zombie apocalypse? What was with the markings after Penny's name? Yeah, I think that, well, I don't know about a cure, but I have a feeling that he wants to just, he might even be okay just having her kind of like a pet. I don't know if he's like really hoping that they'll have a full-blown cure. Maybe he's hoping that he can at least tame her a little bit. Who knows?
She seems to be disintegrating right in front of him.
Yeah, it takes a while. And then what was the second thing? What was the markings? I don't know. It was just crazy.
Hash marks, crazy hash marks. Maybe it's the number of Zeds he killed. Maybe he went on a killing spree, and those are all Zeds he killed.
Could be, or the days since
he
started to go nuts or something. It was cool because they were so uniformly drawn. Yeah,
yeah, they were. They were creepy, even.
Right.
And pages. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Loved it.
This next one comes from John from Jarrettsville, Maryland. I felt the last 20 minutes of tonight's episode were comically bad. The zombie pro wrestling and Rick stabbing Laurie's lurker in the belly felt like cheesy parts of a bad 80s movie. I don't think groans were the intended reaction, unless they were from the zombies. The best part of The Walking Dead is how the show manages to view the zombie events with a certain amount of realism. The last part of tonight's show went too far in the bizarre extreme.
Yeah, see, I kind of felt like that, not this strongly, but in that direction when the first time I watched it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second time that was taken away for me. I would try watching it again if you haven't watched it twice.
Try it again, John.
But you didn't feel that way even the first time. You just dug it all.
I think that it's been going that way for a while.
Yeah, it's just getting dark and people are getting darker.
Yeah. And Rick is kind of going off the deep end. That's for damn sure.
Totally. Okay, this is from Raylin. Plot twist. Daryl looks so comfortable holding a baby because it's his. That'd be pretty funny.
That would be
By
funny.
the way, Rick, when Shane wasn't hitting that, I was.
Little Rick Shaney is actually little Daryl Shaney. This one's from Krista. I had no problem with Laurie's accelerated labor timeline, even leaving out the TV, movie labor, and childbirth guidelines. I have had 3 children. Each labor was totally different. My second child was an emergency C-section, and it was a matter of minutes between when the nurse said, "Oh my God," to the moment they had to be in an OR delivering the baby. I didn't even have time to be scared. Wow. Who is this from again? This is from Krista. Wow, Krista. Glad everything went okay. Golly, that's quick. So there it is from a mom.
Good. I mean, not good for you, but it makes me feel a little better about the storytelling. Thanks. This is from Tony. I was just wondering what you guys think about Oscar and Axel. You haven't really discussed them, and I was just wondering your thoughts on the last 2 prisoners, especially after Oscar redeeming himself and Axel by shooting Andrew. You follow me? I've said many times I think Axel is a maniac.
Have you?
Yeah. Axel's a crazy maniac.
You think Axel's a crazy maniac?
Mm-hmm.
Just well, given
that guy. I think he's
yeah. No, I know the guy who can work on Daryl's motorcycle. They did a good job digging the graves, and then they also were there working the gates.
Oh, you're right. They're probably totally fine then.
I don't know. They were very sympathetic to Glenn, remember? And they were talking about.
Have you ever heard of anybody lulling somebody else into a false sense of complacency so they can then attack?
That's probably what it is.
Axel.
Hey, maybe this is our next bet.
Okay, Axel's a maniac.
Okay, I'm saying he's not.
I'm gonna have a total of 3 Heinekens.
Maybe not. All right, that's our next bet.
Yeah?
Yes.
Let's shake on it.
All right. There we go.
Okay.
This next one comes from Matt from Salem, New Hampshire. I was wondering what you guys thought about the parallels between Merle and Daryl since they were split up. Both have seemingly become the go-to guy in their respective groups. It seems like they both have compromised a little bit of themselves to fulfill that role. What's interesting is it seems like Daryl has been changed for the better because of his role, and more recently you've seen a softer side of him with Carol and baby ass kicker. Merle, on the other hand, rips out the teeth of zombies and is the premier fighter in the zombie MMA league. I would love to hear your thoughts on the two of them. Wow, that's actually great, Matt.
It is, yeah. I just want to co-opt those thoughts.
Yes, we'd like to pretend those came from us.
That's a good parallel. I love it, and I hadn't really thought much about it, but I bet you the writers have, and they're setting up Merle to be sort of a parallel with Daryl being useful in his group. But
And
in the Merle kind of way.
And since they're both kind of like the first lieutenants, they are also setting them up for the confrontation between Woodbury and the prison.
Totally.
And the two, first lieutenants are going to have to, who are brothers, are going to have to figure out what side they're really on.
Yeah. And I'm really looking forward to that confrontation, but I hope it's not disappointing because I'm like, oh, yeah, I can't wait to see what happens. And
right.
Then, they just kill Daryl off before he gets a chance to see Merle like they did with T-Dog.
Right.
Or something like that. But I also still want Merle to get Hyde just so we can see him be as big of an asshole as he was in season 1, because he is toned down now.
Yeah.
And I like it, but I want to see that old just flying off the handle total dickhead Merle at some point or another. Otherwise, it's kind of inconsistent characterization.
People grow and change.
That's true. This is from Richard. Just want to mention that I think the show got to a new level of sick and twisted when Rick found the bloated walker that ate Lori's body, which I loved, by the way. Seeing the walker sitting there in a food coma is a timely allegory that will definitely be referenced this Thanksgiving.
Wow, that's going to be a fun Thanksgiving at your house, Richard.
Let's all be thankful for this pregnant woman that we're going to eat.
Wow, we're sitting around the Thanksgiving table all bloated from our turkey, just like that zombie that ate Lori.
I'm going to say that, even though none of my family will know what I'm talking about.
This next one comes from Patrick. Let's assume Carol is still alive since it's pretty obvious her fate has not yet been resolved. Also, we noticed in the latest episode that Lori's body is gone, and I don't think the zombie with the food baby ate her as some have suggested. Could Carol have stumbled upon Lori and used her newly acquired surgical skills to tidy up the C-section wound and move her to a safe place? Would Carol and Lori be hiding somewhere in the prison, maybe at the infirmary, trapped by zombies and unable to return to the group? By the way, who's on the phone? Maybe Carol calling for help? Let me know what you think.
I think that is very sunshiny and nice. And you should just stop watching the show right now and pretend
assume
that's what happened.
And it's a mother and child reunion.
Yeah, and everybody's not. And then all the zombies just die off for no reason. And they go to an island and they have lots of pineapple and coconut.
And lobster.
Right. And there's lots of tan, good-looking islanders there to service them. When I first read this, Patrick, I thought, oh, yeah, wouldn't that be great? But I don't think that's this show.
I don't think that is this show. Maybe. Yeah, we'd like to see that you're right, Patrick.
One of us. This is from Kimberly. My imagination has been running wild regarding how you two met. Maybe Karen was a stripper and Jason was at a bachelor party.
Yes.
No, I was the stripper.
And I was at a bachelor party.
Next, no, just kidding. Maybe you met in AA, hence the secrecy. And we're drinking beer. For each podcast. Maybe Karen was a mental patient and Jason was her nurse.
Oh,
I guess we'll never get spoiled on that one.
Nope.
Not until Karen says it's okay.
Maybe we're related. Like maybe we're cousins.
Cousins, identical.
See, I could totally make that into a sounder if I had the sounder board. This is from. Thanks for writing, and thanks for writing, Kimberly.
I thought about making goofy ones of myself, but then I'd be sitting here pressing buttons, making myself look bad.
I don't have any of the buttons, people. I have none of the buttons. Fucky, fuck. By the way, I say that at home all the time. This one comes from Robert. Before last night's episode, I would have put good money on Carol's escape, but when Daryl placed a Cherokee rose on one of the graves, all bets are off. Can't imagine he would honor a grave as hers without having had positive ID.
I don't think that's true.
I don't know.
I think they thought they found T-Dog's body and Carol's headband and assumed she was dead. And I do think it's a bit weak that they did that, but I think that's what they did.
She's somewhere in that prison.
Yeah. Okay, let's go through our little back and forth. This is from Jarrell. Hoping that they will find Carol alive or T-Dog's death would mean nothing. I kind of agree with that. I also want to know what happened to Morales and his family from season 1. I don't think we're ever going to see them again.
Oh, yeah. No, we probably won't.
And we'll see Morgan before we'll see them.
I hope we see Morgan again. Evan says, I wish Rick had not been so talkative.
That's awesome. Tasha says, after seeing the fat zombie that I assumed ate Lori, I was wondering, would a zombie eat the bones too? Or would a zombie even devour a dead body? And are we sure that Carl shot his mom? The bullet that Rick picked up may have been a sign. So many questions.
I agree, Tasha.
I think a zombie would definitely munch on a freshly dead body, but I don't know about devouring the whole thing.
Like a boa constrictor.
Yeah.
Jim writes, Governor's Notebook, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Amen, brother.
You can see, I don't mean to do this, but I read all the emails and then I steal people's stuff during my review. Sorry. John says, why did they even bother filming the scene at the daycare? Short of a sad look on Daryl's face while he was looking at the handprints, all that could have been conveyed with a line later in the show, quote, we found some formula, shot a possum. I kind of agree. I mean, it was for tension, and I think it would have been so much better if we would have seen at least one zombie toddler, though. For some reason, like zombie babies bother me, but zombie toddlers I want to see. That
doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but okay. And by the way, I think they might want to move into that daycare. They have all kinds of supplies there for kids in the daycare center. And it looked pretty cheery. I mean, given everything that's happened.
Mm-hmm. There weren't any like little tiny blood spattered bodies or anything like that. No,
they're just a possum here and there. And heck, that's dinner. Susan writes, I thought Rick was stabbing the zombie with a swollen belly in effigy for the one in Lori's belly. Could be wrong, but right now I think he hates that baby that probably belongs to Shane. And he may see it now, as he may see it now, it killed his wife. That looked a lot more like rage and guilt than it did an autopsy.
I don't think so. I think he was just maybe out of his mind.
He was kind of out of his mind.
I don't know. Do you think he hates the baby? I'd be surprised.
He's not acknowledging the baby at this point. But yeah, the baby came and his wife died. So, but he wasn't that close to his wife when she died. Let's face it.
Hopefully next week we'll see him and he won't like go stab the baby or something.
Yes, that would be the bad thing. The tender moment between the governor and Penny. If you didn't know better, you'd have thought that he was playing a piano as they panned in, only to find him brushing the hair of the little zombie girl. What a contrast between the rational leader as he shows others, and the messed up person he truly is. Yeah, that's right.
I thought he was playing the piano. Did you?
No.
Because they had some pretty piano music and they kind of panned down on him and the zombie girl. She says, Daryl being the one to feed the kid. There's a kid somewhere in his past. I always suspected a younger sibling, maybe. He has a soft spot for the little ass kicker.
He does. And Shannon writes, hello, dinner.
There's a URL she gave.
Yeah, which is southern.food.com/recipes/stuffed roast possum. Hello, dinner.
John says, it is good to know that we can take not having pro wrestling in the zombie apocalypse off our list of things to worry about.
There still will be pro wrestling. Jana Lee writes, my unicorn and glitter hopes. Please don't let Carol be dead. Please let Beth be a means in which Carl can somewhat heal. Therefore, do not kill her off. And please find some way in which Rick can deal with his loss. We need a clear division between Rick and the governor. So far, I'm seeing the emotional toll has taken on Rick, leading to why the governor is the way he is. Rick has got to stay a good guy. Yeah, I agree. Hey, my unicorn and glitter hopes are just like yours, Jana Lee.
I'm just looking to find a way in which Rick can deal with his loss. I mean, yeah, I think I don't know. A lot of predictions of how this season would go of mine have been wrong, but because I thought the season would be about Rick and Lori coming back together because they were estranged, and now she's gone. So, but I think that maybe they've sort of dismantled Rick, and now the rest of the season. Well, he's still going to have a lot of tribulations, but I think by the end of it, I'll say this. By the end of the season, I think Rick will be a stronger person than he is right now, until maybe the very end of the last episode when something really bad will happen.
He's got to be. We can't have the Rick Grimes, the main leader of the group we've been following. We can't have him completely fall apart and turn into a big quivering mass of goo. I mean, we can't.
Okay, we got a few calls. Let's play them. This one's from Keith from Wyoming.
Hey, Jason and Karen. This is Keith from Wyoming again. Figuring I'd give another call back and give my take on this new episode. Say the word. Wow. Another great episode. I believe you guys had said that Greg Nicotero was directing this one, and
Yep.
Wow. Michonne, Rick going on his zombie killing rampage. Awesome. The gladiator fights with Merle and the other guy at the end at Woodbury. Incredible. This was one of the better episodes, and we still have the mystery. Where is Carol? I am so curious. When Michonne leaves, I thought the guy with the machine gun was going to kill her right there because she said nobody leaves Woodbury on their own. And then at the beginning, when the governor is brushing his Walker daughter's hair, I did not see that coming, actually. Shocked. Not as shocked as last week, but still pretty shocking. The only thing I'm wondering is who is on the phone at the end with Rick. Well, I took your advice from last week with the zombie noise, and I figured, well, I'm still a little sick, so here you go. Take it easy, guys. Don't get bit. Bye.
Don't get bit, Keith.
Yeah, I bet you that
Thanks for calling.
zombie sound is better than the one you'll make in a few weeks. Thanks for calling. All right. This is from David from Canada.
Hi, Jason and Karen. This is David Friese calling from Canada. I never, ever call this.
Oh, by the way, okay, before I play the rest of this call, I wanted to just preface it. So we got a couple of negative reviews on iTunes, and we get overwhelmingly positive reviews, so thanks so much, you guys. But he's talking about these negative ones, I think.
States, let alone a podcast from the States. But I wanted to leave a message for you both and just let you know that I think you guys are amazing. And Jason, I know you weren't fishing for compliments, but I just need you guys to know that out of all of the podcasts that I listen to, you guys put a huge grin on my face. And I'm caught walking down the street to work with a smile on my face and looking like that odd guy that's walking down the street with a smile on his face. So in regards to reviews, Karen, please brush it off. You guys are so great together, and I eagerly wait for your guys' podcast, and just really wanted to let you know that the work that you guys do is exceptional, and that you guys together are amazing. So keep it up, and don't let anyone get you down, because you guys got a really good thing going here. Talk to you later. Take care. Don't get bit.
So we just want to take this time to announce that we're ending the podcast. No, that was nice.
Canadians are so nice.
Thank you, David.
Thank you,
and I
David.
posted something on Facebook about that and about those reviews, and you guys all were so sweet. And I didn't, want to read all those responses, but thank you so much. And this call kind of speaks for all you guys, so we totally appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
appreciate it. I love you guys so much. There, I said it.
Okay, now last call is from Ryan. Ryan's very quiet. I don't know what happened to Ryan. It's not playing.
Wow, that was very zen.
Okay, no call from Ryan.
All right. Sorry, Ryan.
Sorry, Ryan. I'll play it next week. Okay, that's it for this week's Listener Moans, Groans, and Grunts. This week we're going to do something a little different with Comic Talk.
Okay.
Instead of having Jaden's, little segment, Jaden and I decided we're just going to talk it out together.
Oh, cool.
So I'm going to do that, and then we'll be back with next week on The Walking Dead. So here we go with me and Jaden and Comic Talk. Hey, Jaden, how you doing?
Not too bad. Good to be on the show again.
Oh, by the way, I should have mentioned this already, but you should know by now. If you don't want to hear spoilers and you haven't read the comic and you don't want to hear plot elements from the comic that may show up in the show, then you should not listen to this section. But otherwise, if you have or if you don't care about that kind of thing, then keep on listening. One thing about this episode I noticed is it just had so much from the comic compared to what we usually get. Would you agree with that?
Oh, yeah, I definitely
Yeah.
agree with that.
So let's go down the list. What are some things that you noticed?
Well, I'm going to hit my favorite one first because it just blew me away. Seeing Rick answer the phone.
Yeah.
Oh
was
man,
good.
my jaw just dropped when the phone started ringing. I'm like, oh, they are gonna do it.
Right. I was interested. We just did our whole podcast, and Karen, I don't think she really has a clue what's coming up. I don't think it's even in her mind that he's going nuts. I think she thinks it's going to be somebody on the phone, somebody actually on the phone. So
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people talking online about it. They think that it's Carol.
right, yeah. And I mean, you never know. They might go that route, but I really doubt it. I think this is his kind of foray into insanity starting
Yeah,
up here.
I've seen some talk online from Andrew Lincoln saying that he mistakenly said to the writers before this season, "I wonder how far you can push Rick before he breaks."
And now he
And
regrets it, saying
yeah,
that.
exactly, because they've really put him as far as he can possibly go at this point.
With the phone, I wonder if they are going to play it like the comic and have him hearing Lori, will they have Sarah Wayne Callies back on there to lend her voice to it?
I definitely hope so.
Me too. That'd be cool. Okay, what's next? I'll throw in the whole arena thing.
Yeah, that was actually the next one I was even going to mention. The thought that they've brought in zombies, they've got them with the teeth removed, they're doing the whole wrestling thing, and I think it's great that Merle's like the main attraction for this.
Yeah, me too. I like that too. But there's one thing I don't remember from the comic. I know at least later on, the governor threw people in there that maybe were reluctant or, for his own political ends. But I remember also there were people who just seemed to get off on the fighting aspect of it, kind of like Merle seems to, right? So do you remember the first time we see the arena, who the fighters are?
I don't remember exactly who the fighters were. They didn't do much with them in the comic. They one of them had his teeth knocked out by the other one.
Right, I
And
remember that. Yeah.
as Rick's being treated for his hand that had been cut off, they came in and he's complaining, "Man, it's supposed to be a stage fight. Why the fuck did you knock my teeth out? We can't. There's no way to get dentures now," or something like that. And I believe one of them shot and killed the other one, and they just kind of hinted at it later on. I don't think they did too terribly much with that.
Right. But that's okay. Yeah. Now it's all coming back to me. And they kind of skipped that here. I mean, it didn't look like the guy that Merle was fighting was, going to go complain about it or anything.
Yeah, it was definitely a professional wrestling thing where they're all in it and it's staged. And
I just wished it was a little bigger, though. It seemed like the arena was more impressive in the comic than in the show.
well, in the comic, it's the
Racetrack or something.
yeah, the dirt racetrack for like go-kart type things. And in here, it just seems like it's some building that they've partitioned for this, maybe like
Yeah.
a gymnasium or something.
And I guess because he said that there's only 75 people in Woodbury, maybe it makes sense to have it be a little smaller.
Yeah, in the comic, I know they had about the same population, but it just looked bigger at times.
Yeah. Okay, now you throw out one. What else?
Okay, so this may be one that only I noticed, but when I watched it play through the second time, as Michonne's going through the book in the governor's office, and she sees that list of names, I paused it to look at the names,
Right.
and I caught that several of them are names of the characters that the governor interacted with in the first novel. And the one at the very top is Brian, which is the governor's real name.
Oh yeah. I see. Now okay. So this is a big spoiler for the novel. So if you don't want to be spoiled on the novel, you might not want to listen to this. But
I'm going to spoil everything here. That's
yeah, that's right.
what I do at this point.
The big twist, as people who've read the novel know, is that the governor he says he's Philip Blake, but Philip Blake is actually his brother that got killed, and he kind of went nuts and took over Philip's persona. And you know what? I didn't like that. I thought. I don't know. It seemed like a twist just for a twist's sake to me. And I suspect and also hope that they're not going to do that in the show. They're just going to have him be Philip Blake and Penny is actually his daughter.
Yeah, I agree completely. But this is a small spoiler for the second novel. But I mean, it's not a major one or anything. There is a scene where the governor is kind of off by himself and kind of dealing with his split personalities and talking to himself as both people.
Oh, wow. That's great.
So they really do bring you back to that.
Yeah, I'm glad they do.
I like
They didn't
the
just
cover.
drop it. Yeah, I'm like 2/3 of the way through and they already have started to go into that a little bit. So I'm glad that they're fleshing that out a little bit in the novels. But still, I think it's an unnecessary complication for the TV show. I think it's more powerful if he's actually got his daughter in there, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And that was another great thing, seeing Penny this time.
Yes. Yeah, it was interesting how they introduced Penny because it could have been done in a more shocking way, but it looked like they were kind of going for touching / twisted.
Yeah, I think it was just to show that he's not quite right in the head. And I made sure to pay attention to this the second time through. In the comic, they have a scene specifically where he's pulling out Penny's teeth so he can kiss her. And yeah, it's really, really warped.
Yeah.
But in the TV show, she's already got her teeth removed in the opening scene.
Oh, really? I didn't notice that. Okay.
Yeah, I had to play it back a second time because I was looking specifically for that.
Okay.
So they're not going to put that in the TV show, thankfully, because that was kind of deranged and creepy, even by my standards.
I was wondering. Okay, so this is kind of a change of subject, but Michonne, you know, a big part of this episode is her crossing the governor. She breaks into his place, steals her sword back, then actually puts it at his throat. So I was wondering, they're setting up a rivalry between them, and will that eventually lead to him torturing and raping her? And it looks like maybe that's where they're going, but so far he said he wants her to stay there and work it out. Now he could just be saying that. But also, so far, as twisted as the TV governor is, he still doesn't seem capable of what the comic book governor did. And maybe I'm wondering if he's going to, they're going to do stuff to make it more believable that he'll shift into that, or is he already kind of a bit of a split personality and we just haven't fully seen his dark side yet because he's good at hiding it, you know?
Well, see, I've got a theory about all of this, and comic book fans are used to suspending their disbelief a little more than people who watch stuff on TV are.
I agree.
People who watch stuff on TV, they want explanations for all of this. So I think they're easing us into the absolute batshit insane lunacy of the governor a little more gently.
Which is good. It's good, too. It's more nuanced. I like that.
And I definitely saw him as trying to outwit Michonne, which she definitely outwitted him as soon as she brought up Penny. But when she said something about other little girls, I saw the smile on his face like, oh, you really don't know. You just think you know. So he realizes, oh, she didn't find Penny.
Right.
And so he's just kind of trying to manipulate her into doing what he wants, which he's used to being able to do with people. And I've got a feeling he's going to send out his troops to track her down now that she's gone and bring her back so he can start using Michonne against Andrea the way he's used Daryl against Merle.
Okay, so you think that he'll have the troops go and grab her and then hide her away somewhere like that?
Yeah, so if Andrea tries to go look for her, she's not going to find her.
Could be. I think in the scenes from next week, didn't they show Michonne interacting with Merle or something?
Oh, I haven't seen the scenes from next week. Okay. They don't have those on the iTunes copy.
Okay, I'm not sure about that, but I think I might have seen that somewhere. The last thing that I noticed is just a small thing, but it seems like a lot more of the zombies in this episode resemble the Charlie Adler zombie with the sunken eyes and the exposed bare teeth, especially when Glenn is going through the jail and searching for Rick. He shines a light on one that's laying on the ground, and it just looks like it stepped right out of the comic. I really do get a sense that they're at least for some of the zombies, they're using the comic as a reference. So that's kind of cool.
The exact one you were talking about. It was like all up in the foreground right before he finds Rick. Yeah, I thought the exact same thing when I saw that one.
Okay, well, you know what? I think that's a good segment for this week. I'm just going to close it with a haiku from one of our listeners. This is Casey from Texas. He writes, Rick's a mindless drone, gouging a belly for bones. Lori's on the phone. So there we go. Okay, thanks a lot, Jaden. I think that was good. That worked out pretty good.
Awesome.
Talk to you next week.
I will be here.
All right, man. Okay, let's move on to next week on The Walking Dead.
All right, next week on The Walking Dead, the episode is titled Hounded, and the official description is, as Lori grows closer to the governor, Michonne makes a decision about Woodbury. Glenn and Maggie go on a run. Rick struggles. So it kind of sounds exactly like what happened this week.
Glenn and Maggie go on a run. That
Yeah,
sounds
actually,
like a jog or
as
something.
Andrea, yeah, I know. As Andrea grows closer to the governor, Michonne makes a decision about Woodbury. I mean, that's exactly what happened this episode. Glenn and Maggie go on a run. Well, Glenn didn't, but Maggie did. And Rick struggles. That happened this week too. It's sort of funny.
It sounds kind of benign too. It's
yeah, they leave him pretty
and-
vague.
Yeah, and I don't know who else is on the show. Carl wears sunscreen.
It's written by Scott M. Gimple, and you may have heard his name before. He is lots and lots of producer credits and lots of writer credits. He wrote pretty much Dead Already, 18 Miles Out, and Save the Last One. So
All
he's-
good ones.
Yeah, and he's been on the show for a little while, so he gets the show completely.
Yeah, looking forward to that one.
Yeah, me too. It's directed by a guy named Dan Attias. I don't know if I'm mispronouncing his name. Attias. Attias. It's his first Walking Dead episode that he's directed, but listen to this list of TV shows that he's directed. Okay, are you ready? Mm-hmm. Homeland, True Blood, The Killing, New Girl, House MD, Entourage, Big Love, Lost. He directed Everybody Loves Hugo.
Oh, wow.
The Wire, Always Sunny in Philadelphia, 6 Feet Under, Sopranos, and Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Wow.
And that's just a sample.
This better be a good episode.
That's just a sample of what he's directed.
I need to get that ratchet sound so I can ratchet down our expectations, because that's awesome. Those are good shows.
Yeah, I know. I got ratcheted up when I read that. I was like, Everybody Loves Hugo. That's one of my favorite Lost episodes. Yeah, and Sopranos, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I mean, this guy has done a lot of TV shows, really great
Awesome.
TV shows. Yeah, so it should be good.
I'm going to play a short call we got that was a little potentially spoilery that has to do with next week's episode. So here we go. It's a little spoilery, so if you don't want to hear what might be a spoiler, move on. Actually, it's potentially very spoilery. So
I'm going to move on.
Yeah,
Is
if
that
you
okay?
don't want to hear a potentially, I don't know if it's true, it's a rumor, but if it's true, it could be a big spoiler. So go to the end section if you don't want to potentially get spoiled on something for next week. You've been warned. Here we go.
Hey guys, just wanted to leave a quick tip. If you watch the promo for episode 6 and pause it right at the end when you see Maggie holding up the gun, you can clearly see that looks pretty much like a zombified Carol. I don't know, like if you could give your thoughts about it, but it has to be Carol. It looks just like her. You can tell. I mean, for a shaved head, everything. I'm betting my money that that's probably a zombified Carol that we'll see next episode.
I watched it. I didn't see it, though. That's why I'm not sure there's credence to it. And I don't believe they would show that in a teaser.
That sounds like a beer on the line to me.
Well, you think it is, Carol?
No, I think he's saying, he just said, I'll bet it's Carol. I'm like, okay, put up the beer, man. I'm going to say no because I don't want it to be true.
Yeah. No.
There, it's not true until we see it next week.
Okay. We good on that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's close it out.
Okay.
All right. That's our show, episode 80. Thanks so much for listening, everybody. Thanks,
everybody.
I just wanted to mention that I got an email from a guy at podcastingnewsandreviews.com. It's a new podcasting review website, and they reviewed us, and it was a thoughtful review. So thought I'd give them a shout out. They're trying to get this going because they said there's not a lot of podcast reviews around the web.
Oh, so cool.
It's kind of cool. Check that out. Podcastingnewsandreviews.com. I also want to let you guys know I have not, our zombie get up contest is over.
Yeah.
It ended November 9th. I haven't had a chance to go through all the entries yet, so I'll get them so you can look with me, and then we can pick a winner, and then we'll announce it for the next episode.
I'm really looking forward to that. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's fun to look at all those. In the meantime, if you'd like to leave us a message, you can call us at 650-485-DEAD. That's 650-485-3323.
You can email us at brains@walkingdeadcast.com.
You can check out our website at walkingdeadcast.com, and don't forget to click through our Amazon link on there. Whenever you shop at Amazon, we'll get a little kickback, and we appreciate it.
No matter what you're buying, even if it's embarrassing.
Or non-zombie related.
We're also on Twitter at Jason and Karen, and on Facebook at facebook.com/deadcast.
And by the way, if you like what we're doing, please go on iTunes and subscribe to us, rate us, and review us. It's free and it's easy, and it's a great way to show your support for our podcast. And if you're not sure how to do that, you can go to our website, walkingdeadcast.com, and click on subscribe, and we tell you how, and we really appreciate it. All right, that's our show.
Thanks for listening. Don't get bit. Chantel 137.
You like that? Huh? Little ass kicker?
What does it mean to live for the common good? Introducing the Garrison Institute presents The Common Good, the brand new podcast from the Garrison Institute, a leading not-for-profit organization exploring the intersection of contemplation and engaged action in the world. Hosted by me, Jonathan F.P. Rose, a co-founder of the Garrison Institute, the series dives into the threads that bind us all. First, you'll discover the interdependent nature of life with environmental entrepreneur Paul Hawken and trailblazing plant intelligence researcher Monica Gagliano. Next, we unlock the mysteries of the mind with renowned psychiatrist Dan Siegel and Pulitzer Prize-winning author Siddhartha Mukherjee. Finally, we experience compassion and action with social justice activist Conda Mason and environmental leader Bill McKibben. We invite you to listen, reflect, and join us in acting for the common good. Follow the Garrison Institute presents The Common Good on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening now.